Hi, and welcome to Season 3 of Community Storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler. I'm always so thrilled to be with you. Always want to thank Linda Lester, my fairy godmother, for being a sponsor of this show. And I have a very special guest for you to meet today. You and I are going to learn at the same time. And I will tell you right now, some of it is going to be difficult to swallow, but it is something and some things we need to know about. So let me introduce you to my new friend, Lisa Blanchard.
Hello.
And Lisa is the executive director of this great project called the Grateful Garment Project. So let's start from the very beginning, Lisa. Tell us what Grateful Garment Project is.
Sure. We are a nonprofit organization that is in the business of dignity. We help restore dignity to people who have had it stolen through some form of sexual violence.
So now the smile comes off the face because it's tough stuff.
It is. Yes, especially when you consider part of sexual violence are children that are sexually abused, people that are sexually assaulted, commercially sexually exploited, or children that are sold for sex or pornography, or victims of human sexual trafficking.
So how do you come in touch with these people? How do you touch their lives?
Sure. So when somebody is sexually violated and it's reported, they are offered the opportunity to go to the hospital to undergo the forensic exam we know of as a rape kit.
Yes.
And so when somebody goes through this process, it's a clean room exam, they open up a sheet, they step on the sheet, and they begin removing their articles of clothing one at a time. They're then bagged and tagged. And basically they're surrendering them for evidence. So if you give up all your clothes, what are you going to wear home?
You're left with the schmata, the thing they put on you in the hospital.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, nothing.
If there's not clothing available, then people, many times they'll get something like paper scrubs or a hospital gown, or hope maybe the nurses have bought something. So Grateful Garment Project was originally started to address that issue. It started as a class project for my undergraduate degree at Notre Dame,
Really?
Dina Moore. Yes.
How many years ago was that, if you don't mind me asking?
9 years ago.
9 years ago.
Yeah.
So you had to come up with
An idea,
project.
a graduation project. And so I had heard that this was happening in my community, and I just found that really unacceptable. And so I decided for this graduation project, I would start a clothing closet. And so the very first clothing closet was at the Sexual Assault Response Team, the SART team at Valley Medical Center.
Yes, the county hospital.
And I went over there, and it's back behind the hospital, and I went there and I rang the doorbell, and this woman answered it and let me in. And I just said, "Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm a Notre Dame student, and I want to start a clothing closet for you. I heard there's this need." And the woman turned around and she looked at me like I was crazy, first of all. And she ended up being the director of the program, who just happened to be walking by and answered the door. So I just kept talking to her until she agreed to work with me. And it's been 9 years. So what started as a little class project in that one location over 9 years it really went viral from the very beginning.
So you work with hospitals, police, and law enforcement.
Safe houses, shelters, rape crisis centers, counseling organizations, human trafficking entities, social service agencies at times, legal advocacy organizations. What started as that one location at Valley Medical Center over these 9 years has grown to 103 agencies in 48 counties in California.
You're kidding me.
No.
I think you're what we call a superhero.
Thank you.
Or an angel, or both. So how many people do you think your project touches every day?
Every single day, we provide resources for 30 to 50 people.
No.
Every day.
No. In Santa Clara Valley alone?
Or all over California.
All over California.
All over California.
30 to 50 people.
Yes. California is the most densely populated location in, the state in the United States. It also has 3 of the top 10 locations for human sexual trafficking. The San Francisco Bay Area being number 1.
Yes, that I knew.
And so there's substantial amounts of sexual violence taking place every day in California. Every year we help over 10,000 people who have been victimized some way.
So walk us through a day. Tell us what you think is happening in certain areas.
Oh, wow, that's a really big question. So sexual violence is rampant in California, and some people will not be happy with that statement. It's rampant on college campuses. It's rampant out in the world. I mean, just by the sheer number of population, you're going to have it. But there's no dividing line for sexual violence. There's no gender, men, women, girls, boys. Matter of fact, the median age for a minor victim of sexual assault in the state of California is 9 years old.
9
children.
years old.
And also there's no socioeconomic, there's no ethnicity, no faith tradition, nothing. Senior citizens are sexually assaulted. Matter of fact, when we establish resource closets at the hospital, like I did with that first hospital, Valley Med, we stock them with every size between like a 2-3 toddler to a 4-5X adult.
Oh, my heart.
So no matter what age, shape, size, gender somebody is, they have clothes. So every day, these agencies are utilizing these resources. What started as one program has grown into 6. And so as agencies use the resources, they can then go on our online ordering system that was created pro bono by a tech company, and place orders for clothing and resources that they need to replenish their supplies. And we give everything away for free, and we even pay for the shipping for wherever
So
it's
tell me
going.
how you're funded.
We are funded from people just like you, people like your audience. We're completely donor funded. We get a few small grants, but no government money.
What does it cost to outfit a victim?
Sure. To provide somebody with a complete outfit, some grooming items, because you can just imagine how valuable a toothbrush would be in that situation.
Yes.
Something to drink and to eat, because as a part of that exam process, you're going to be given a whole bunch of medications so you don't end up with STDs or different things. And you can't take them on an empty stomach. And most people, by the time they get the medication, they're going to have an empty stomach, because this exam takes a minimum of 3.5 hours to complete.
Really?
Could be 4, 5, 6 hours, depending on the nature of the injury. So all of those supplies, the clothing, the grooming items, the something to eat, cost about $75 a person. Everything is new. It's all brand new. If it's a child, it's a little bit less. If it's a male, it's a little bit less, because they don't need the undergarments that a female needs. But relatively, it's about $75.
And how do we give?
Sure. You can go to gratefulgarment.org and donate online. You can reach out to us, maybe consider holding a drive. We're always willing and wanting to come speak to groups and clubs. We do a lot of public speaking. Matter of fact, it's kind of like our marketing campaign is where 2 or more gather, Lisa talks.
Okay, okay, so we're a Lisa Talk. Okay, we're a Lisa Talk. So gratefulgarment.org, and I hope you will take a peek at the website. I've looked at it. It's a great website. And do make a donation, because you yourself will be changing a life and making somebody feel just a little better after such an incident. Returning dignity. So you obviously don't come in contact with these people directly.
No.
For privacy reasons and things like that.
It's protected by HIPAA laws, and it's an active crime investigation.
But
we do get some people that we find out about. It's very few and far between. But for example, lately, we've been in the media because Chanel Miller, who was the Brock Turner Stanford rape survivor.
Yes.
She wrote a book, and in her book, about 4 or 5 places, she calls the Grateful Garment Project out. She talks about she had surrendered her clothes, and she was pulling clothes out of this supply cabinet, and she put on this sweatshirt, and when she pulled it over her head, on the sleeve was this tag that says, "This is provided to you by the Grateful Garment Project. We care." And she remember looking at it thinking, wow, because several years earlier, she participated in a fundraiser with her grandmother and other people. They folded origami swans and sold them. And she said she never imagined all these years later that she would ever need the resources that Grateful Garment Project provides. And so, I mean, it's really touching. It was fun. When I read it, I cried, because
I bet.
It's so rare. I know that what we do is really important. I know it's making a difference, but so rarely do we get to really see the facts, someone to tell us.
And I'm thinking at that moment, of despair, she looks down, she sees Grateful Garment,
And hopefully for that moment, she had a brief flashback of that happy day with her grandmother doing some good.
Yes.
I mean, I would just like to believe that.
We can,
I would
we
just
can
like
hope
to
so.
believe that. So you called her a survivor, and she is most definitely a survivor. And when do you go from being a victim to a survivor?
Well, some people never leave being a victim. Some people, and it's understandable, they are so altered by this experience that they just can't go on in life, I think for me, and that's all I can speak to, is a survivor is somebody that says, this is part of my story, this happened, and I move forward from here.
It's one chapter.
Yeah, it's one chapter. And you know what? It's really sad because by the time women are my age, 3/4 of them have been sexually violated in their lifetime.
3 out of 4?
3 out of 4.
Women.
And men, it's 1 out of 2, right? The sexual violence is all around us. It's happening all the time. And it mostly goes unreported.
Sorry, you left me speechless there for a moment. I mean, I knew the numbers were astronomical, but I don't think I ever heard it was 3 out of 4 and 1 out of 2. And children, do they have their own statistics?
It's pretty much all the same statistics. The thing is that so much of it goes unreported and therefore untreated. So untreated sexual violence, especially in children, is so traumatic. It's traumatic for anybody, but for children that are sexually abused, they're 7 times less likely to graduate from high school, 3 times more likely to be a victim of violence again in life, twice as likely to be sexually assaulted. That also doesn't include things like drug and alcohol addiction, mental health issues, self-harm, cutting, eating disorders, suicide. And also, it was interesting, when I was in graduate school, I did a lot of research around this. I ended up changing my degree path and getting my master's in nonprofit administration. And what I learned in my research is that sexual violence is a model behavior, just like child abuse and domestic violence, okay? And so most sexual predators were victims first. So it's really important for people to come forward and report the crime and get the help that they need. It helps set their life on a stronger trajectory than if they had not reported it, right?
Right.
And potential sexual predators could get the help they need to not become sexual predators. People that would find themselves in a way where they remained as a victim by getting help. It helps change that.
Right. So when you go home at night, I mean, what do you think?
I'm tired.
You're tired, but some joy in your heart because you know what you've done?
I have the best job in the world, right? I know every day the work that I do, makes a difference, changes the world for better, right? I've had jobs in my life where they were kind of soulless, right? And my job today has a lot of soul, and it touches a lot of people.
Now, you have never had to say no to anybody, have you? When somebody calls the police or whatever, they need one of those $75 packets, portable packets. Have you ever had to say, no, we don't have anything left?
Only one time. That's when the Super Bowl was here in Santa Clara County, and we had created backpacks for law enforcement for the human trafficking. And for 10 days leading up to the Super Bowl, we created and disseminated 178 backpacks for law enforcement, and
You gave them all out?
Yeah, they completely cleaned us out. We had no supplies left because there was so much human trafficking happening.
Unbelievable.
But otherwise, that's the only time.
Well, we're going to make sure that never happens again.
Yes.
So again, how to give, go to your website.
Go to the website. Also, we're primarily a volunteer-run organization, so we are always needing people to come and help us achieve our mission. We have a very small staff. Last year, we gave away over 58,000 articles of clothing and items.
Oh.
We did that on a budget of $506,000, really small budget, with 3 employees, including myself, and a whole bunch of volunteers. We also have openings on our board of directors, so if anybody is really moved by the subject and they want to get involved, definitely reach out to us.
Might be me.
There you
Might
go.
be me.
There you go.
Oh, you are a delight.
We'll
And again,
recruit you right now.
you are a superhero. You
Thank
are
you.
an angel. Lisa Blanchard, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
So it is the gratefulgarment.org. It's the Grateful Garment Project. But look it up at gratefulgarment.org and think about what you could do to make a difference. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being with us.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being with us here at KCAT TV 15. You know, maybe you know somebody who has a story to share like Lisa just did. I would love to be sitting right next to you, and you can nominate him or her or yourself at kcat.org. And we'll see you next time right here on Community Storytelling.